Okay, so welcome to part two of the series, Dear Admiral Neffenger, which would be my theoretical response, or actually my real response, if Admiral Neffenger ever asked me, with 27 years experience in this industry, how to fix aviation security. So let's get started. Dear Admiral Neffenger, please continue using risk-based security. Our biggest enemy is not bombs and guns, but political overreaction. Trying to protect everything results in protecting nothing. While there are nice phrases that play well in the media, for politicians, and for motivating someone on an individual level, there's nothing wrong with that. Phrases like, we have to be right all the time, the bad guys only have to be right once. That's good on an individual level, but it's not realistic from a strategic perspective. We can't lock the system down so tight that we eliminate the benefit of what we're trying to protect, which is air travel. There will always be some level of risk. We have to accept it and move on. When London was hit with bombs in their subways and buses in 2005, they didn't hire 85,000 people and start screening everyone before boarding buses in the subway. They utilized other methods to increase security that didn't eliminate public transportation nor adopt unsustainable strategies that bankrupted the country. We need to think in more broad terms. I'm always challenged with this question. People ask me this all the time. Hey, if someone really wanted to attack aviation, could they? I mean, they could really do it, couldn't they? Sure. Yeah, they could. The dedicated person could do it. But if someone really wanted to break into your house, they probably could do that too. Well, maybe not yours, sir. But no matter the countermeasures, why do we still lock our doors when we leave? Well, it's deterrence. Don't be a slave to the process. Our goal is not to prevent every knife from getting on a plane nor every bad guy from slipping through the system. Our goal is to provide a layered system that convinces the bad guy that their attack will either not be successful or they won't have a significant impact. Or if it is successful and has a significant impact, we're going to fix what's broke and we're going to carry on. Resiliency. If one thinks that an attack is going to result in minimal impact that doesn't cause significant economic damage or erode our values through political or regulatory overreaction, which is the real enemy here, they're going to think about trying other ways to attack that hopefully do not include transportation. I understand. TSA is about all modes of transportation. But you'll find you'll spend the majority of your time in aviation. Rail, maritime, as you well know, and trucking are all vulnerable areas. But it's aviation that the terrorists keep coming back to. So next, don't get treed by a chihuahua. I'll borrow that phrase I heard from the special operations community to make my point. When someone jumps a fence at an airport, then doesn't do anything, or they're caught on the ramp, that's really not a failure of aviation security as a system. It might be a failure of that layer, but other layers worked. In fact, it might not be a failure of the perimeter security at all. One of the objectives of perimeter security is to delay an attacker long enough for them to be detected and for a response. Regardless, it's not the goal to protect the fence or the ramp. Our goal is to protect the airplanes and the airports. The ramps, the fences, those are layers. They help us detect, deter, and respond to a threat. To the real target, airplanes and airports. Someone makes it into a wheel well, successfully flies to Hawaii, and they say, but what if it was a terrorist? Well, it wasn't. I'm sure our U.S. intelligence assets aren't looking for random fence jumpers and benign stowaways. Had this been a real attack, the perpetrator may have already come up on the radar of other law enforcement and intelligence assets. Again, political overreaction is our enemy. Just as a bunch of 4-year-olds run around chasing a soccer ball, we can't chase the latest minor issues amplified by the public, the press, or the politicians about why we should be scared and how their legislation or their solution is going to work to make it all better. Look, kissing boo-boos only works on kids. We need effective measures. We need realistic policies, not knee-jerk reactions. Another example of getting treed by a chihuahua. The recent focus on reducing access points at airports. Such a focus on this to the extent it's become its own outcome, rather than a component of a larger strategy. It's as if to say we eliminated 2 more access points, so we must be winning, to borrow a phrase from another celebrity out there, far more celebrity status than mine, of course. That's not the outcome. It's not the outcome to reduce access points. Most airports have already reduced those points to the operational minimum. To continue to tell them to reduce more, that just hurts the system. It doesn't improve security. Just because a little of something worked doesn't mean more of that something is going to continue to work. Just because 2 pills gets rid of a headache doesn't mean 4 pills gets rid of it any faster. Political overreaction, the real enemy. Tomorrow, fixing TSA's reputation.